When I first moved to Germany from the US 5 years ago, I landed in Frankfurt, and I spent a few days there before I continued on to Berlin. And I have to say that I was pleasantly surprised. I assumed there wouldn't be too much to see or do in Frankfurt. All I knew about Frankfurt was its reputation as a financial capital with lots of American-style high-rises. But what I found was a city with a nice, though small, historic area, a large pedestrian shopping area, and some charming historic neighborhoods. So when I recently visited Frankfurt for the Frankfurt Book Fair, I was excited to have more time to explore the city. And I also had the chance to take some day trips and explore some of its neighboring towns too. So today, I'd like to share with you what I saw while I was there. Los Gates. Frankfurt is the fifth largest city in Germany, and it's located along the Rhine River in the German state of Hessen. Frankfurt is also Germany's financial capital, and since it's the home of the European Central Bank, it's also one of the top financial capitals in Europe. Frankfurt's history goes all the way back to the 1st century, and it was one of the most important cities in the Holy Roman Empire. Located in central Germany, Frankfurt has grown into a culturally, ethnically, and religiously diverse city with half of its population having a migrant background. Frankfurt is also the 13th wealthiest city in the world and the 3rd wealthiest city in Europe. This city is a global hub for commerce, culture, education, tourism, and transportation. And it's the site of many global and European corporate headquarters. Frankfurt International Airport is one of the busiest in the world, and Frankfurt Central Station is Germany's second busiest train station after Hamburg Central Station. Like I said, I came to Frankfurt for the Frankfurt Book Fair, which is the world's largest trade fair for books. I was mostly interested in learning about new books that were coming out. But actually, the book fair in Frankfurt turned out to be more focused on the publishing industry than I expected. And even though they did have lots of books that they were promoting during the public event days over the weekend, I was surprised how much emphasis was given to one particular genre, romantasy. Apparently, this genre has become hugely popular, but I think it appeals mostly to 20-something women based on who I saw attending the many romantasy booths. Personally, I'm more of a fantasy, sci-fi, and non-fiction guy. Right now, for example, I'm reading the Star Wars High Republic novels. But over the weekend, I only saw one Star Wars book at the entire event. Anyways, so yeah, the book fair was interesting, but it ended up being a bit disappointing for me personally. Now I'm thinking about going to the Leipzig Book Fair in the future. I've heard that event has much more of a reader focus, and hopefully there will be a much bigger variety of books at that one. But I have to say, it was still nice to see so many enthusiastic readers attending the event in Frankfurt. Beyond the book fair, I spent some time exploring the city, and I saw some really cool sights with lots of highlights, including the historic Old Town with its beautiful cathedral, the long downtown pedestrian street known as the Zeil, the charming Sachsenhausen neighborhood with its many historic buildings, and the excellent waterfront park, which looks particularly nice in the fall. Before I move on to areas neighboring Frankfurt, I just want to mention two little restaurants that I absolutely love there. These were both in the Sachsenhausen neighborhood, and they were so good that I went to each multiple times while I was there. First, there's Sunny Side Up, an awesome cafe that might actually be one of the best restaurants I've been to in Germany. Their food is top-notch, and they have some of the friendliest staff I've come across in the entire country. Banana bread matcha and chili cheese eggs. Need I say more? Next, there's also this cute little cupcake shop called We Love Cupcakes. I love this place because the owner was super friendly, and I just haven't found that many great shops that focus just on cupcakes in Berlin. Okay, now let's take a look at some places just outside of Frankfurt. Bacharach is a small town along the Rhine River in the German state of Rhineland-Pfalz. This quaint little town is about an hour away from Frankfurt and can be easily reached by train. Bacharach boasts a historic downtown and a gorgeous setting in the grapevine-covered hills of the Rhine Valley. Bacharach's history dates back to at least the 11th century, and this small town is very popular with tourists who often stop here on Rhine River cruises to check out its half-timbered houses and quaint streets. Bacharach is also known for its wines that are sold internationally. The main sites in this little town include St. Peter's Church, which dates back to the 13th century, and Stahleck Castle, a 12th century castle that overlooks the town and the Rhine River Valley. Since I went to Bacharach in the off-season, there wasn't much going on, but I'm sure this place is really hopping in the summer. Before I move on, I just want to make a quick note. I usually do short on-site video introductions to the places that I go to, but for these next two I didn't, since I spent very little time in each. Okay, with that in mind, let's check out Rüdesheim and Wiesbaden. Rüdesheim also dates back to at least the 11th century. This is another small town found along the Rhine River, lying about an hour outside of Frankfurt in the state of Hessen. And since it's located along the river, it's also a major stopping point for many river cruises. Rüdesheim has a historic downtown with pedestrian streets and alleys full of restaurants and gift shops. Frankly, it all felt a bit too touristy for my taste, but it's a very popular destination. From the downtown, you can catch the cable car that goes up to the top of the nearby hill with nice views of the Rhine River and the vineyards around Rüdesheim. Another neighboring city that I briefly visited is Wiesbaden. This city is the state capital of Hessen, founded way back in the 2nd century. Wiesbaden was a well-known spa town in the past, and you can still find some spas around town today. It's also known for its historic buildings like the Marktkirche and the St. Bonifacius Church, which were both built in the mid-19th century. Also, since the end of the Second World War, Wiesbaden has been home to many American military service members, with the U.S. Army Europe headquarters about a half hour from its downtown. The downtown also has some really beautiful streets lined with historic buildings and a nice large pedestrian area. If I'm in the area again in the future, I'd like to return to see what else Wiesbaden has to offer. Alright everyone, thanks for joining me on this quick little trip to Frankfurt and nearby towns. I know that this just scratches the surface of what Frankfurt and the surrounding areas have to offer. Hopefully, I can make it there again and explore some more in the future. As always, I hope this has been helpful to those of you who are thinking about moving to Germany or just want to visit. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos about expat life in Germany. Okay, have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Tschüss, bis später!